Most of you know me, but I'm Paul, Mary Jo's son. I'm speaking on behalf of the grandchildren, Jim, Susan, Carly, Kevin, Francis, and Samantha. From all of us, thank you so much for being here and supporting us, and not just us, but our entire family. Really appreciate the support during this time. I was blessed to know my grandma in two ways. The first is the one most of us share. I was a child and she was my grandma. And it's that special bond of knowing that you are with someone who loves you and your family as much as anyone in the world. We always felt safe with grandma. My brother, sister, and I spent a lot of time at her house growing up. Right down the road there in Tosa. We played with their dogs, swam in their pool, and watched The Princess Bride about 2,000 times. Growing up, Grandma Joanne was the perfect example of what a grandmother should be. She's out of a storybook, really. She woke up at the crack of dawn with her coffee and crossword puzzles. She watched the birds. She gardened and knitted. She put excessive amounts of butter in everything. She made the best applesauce, jelly, and pound cake in the history of the world, in my opinion, obviously, but she was short and gentle with silver hair. She had grandma fat under her arms that she would let us play with. Best of all, she was full of love and had a great sense of humor, obviously, never taking herself too seriously. We can all hear her saying in jest, "Quit picking on me," or "You'll get double pneumonia." I could go on and on, but you all knew her well and know what I'm getting at. She's simply everything a grandmother should be, and I was lucky to have her as mine. But she wasn't just mine, obviously, and Grandma took great pride in all of us grandkids. The highlight of her summer was spending time in New Hampshire with Claire and Kevin. Then living out of state was an opportunity for her to get real quality time with them in a peaceful, beautiful setting. Carly and Sam were always involved in sports or music or performing one way or another, and Grandma and Grandpa would put the miles on 94, going down to Illinois, heading down south there on a regular basis. And Grandma never showed or missed a chance to show them support for everything that they did, and I know that meant a lot to them. We always knew come September, Grandma and Grandpa made their way to New Mexico to celebrate Francis's birthday every single year. Jim, Susan, and myself, being local, like I said, I got to be around them a lot, which we're very thankful for, but a highlight for us was always was the Disney trip that we took with all of our grandparents to Disney World. We've talked about that trip for decades now, and it's just one of the best things we've ever done as a family. When all the cousins were together, whether it was Easter, where it would start with looking for the eggs and the Easter baskets, and end with the Ten Commandments on TV, or Christmas, where we sat in the stool like we did at great grandma's, and we're all in the middle there, and getting matching pajama pants. Grandma always lit up in those situations. You could see how happy it made her to get everyone under one roof. She made these events special, not necessarily because of the event itself, but because of the moments between where she shared in our joy in just being our grandma. As I got older, I got to know her a second way as a friend. This experience is likely more unique because as you grow up, certainly a relationship changes with your parents and grandparents and really everyone, but that's not what I mean here. Grandma Joanne is someone that I could just hang out and have a good time with. I could joke with her the same way I could hang out with friends my own age. And I can safely say that I was the only one of my friends in my college that had their grandparents visit their college house multiple times. They never asked about the mess and just rolled with it as we ate dinner off a sticky ping pong table. I know the other grandchildren felt the same way about Grandma because I've seen them mess around with her the same way that I felt I could, in a loving way, just playful, hanging out, messing with her, joking around. If I were ever near their house in Brookfield, I'd stop in, even if it was only for a few minutes, because she had a personality that I just wanted to be around. And I would just sit and talk about life with her. I could talk about anything serious or silly, and there was no judgment. From talking to my cousins, I know they felt the same way. Again, and someone even texted with her, impressing their friends that their grandma texts. And as weird as it may seem, I have to admit that I can only hope I am as cool as my grandma. Even in her final days, exhausted, she was smiling and laughing with Jimmy, Susan, and myself, shaking her head as we had made jokes with her and some of her expense. Through everything she was going through these last couple of years, it was truly a gift that her personality showed through it all. And I'm so thankful that my kids got to see the beautiful person their Gigi was. She would tell all 4 great-grandchildren how beautiful their blue eyes were, and that it was her favorite color and that they got them from her, making each one feel special. And that is how special Grandma Joanne was as a person. She could make you smile, make you feel loved, even when she had no idea what she was doing or how she was doing it. For most of her life, though, she knew exactly what she was doing, and she was the best at it. She was the best at being my grandma and at being grandma for all of us grandchildren. Thank you, Grandma Joanne, for everything from all of us. We love you.